Currently, the municipality can't reduce a Board of Education budget from the prior year, and that becomes successive, so Board of Education budgets cannot decrease. And being a member of the Wallingford Town Council and seeing how that operates, it doesn't make sense, and proposing to repeal that. You know, some municipalities I read about, I think it's Preston, voted last night to close a school. Certainly, you close a school, you know, there's going to be a decrease in expenses. The municipality itself should have the opportunity to decide whether or not that funding can go elsewhere to foster or encourage other programs or reduce the budget. So, you know, who's the state to say? In 2015, the municipal spending cap was instituted, or was passed by the legislature, 15-5, I think is the public act. You know, who is the state to tell municipalities that they can only spend a certain amount? So looking into repealing that. That's also the one that has to do with the cap on property taxes. You know, that should be a municipal decision. Sitting here right now, it would go to the general fund, because, you know, the state is virtually bankrupt. So the state is the last one who should be giving out money. You know, the carrot and stick approach doesn't really work in this economy. You know, commerce, DECD falls within that. So, you know, I see a lot of inefficiencies of DECD. No follow-up. You know, grants are given out, but it's, you know, everybody wants to be Santa Claus. You know, the money comes out and there's what appears to be no overview as to was the money actually spent on that, you know, is the project done on time, those kinds of things. So, you know, that's a way to perhaps curtail state spending or to make it more responsible. General law, the Department of Consumer Protection falls under that. Many times the Department of Consumer Protection is more intrusive into business than it perhaps should be. So, you know, that's a way perhaps to deal with it from the other side to make Connecticut more business friendly. Regulation review, all too often, the legislature just throws up its hands and says, you know, this is the concept, we're going to give it to the agency, they're going to figure out what the regulations are, and then they turn their back. That's not the way this process should happen at all. I mean, legislators are sent to Hartford to make the rules, and when they don't want to make the rules, or they don't have the knowledge or acumen to make the rules, that isn't the responsible way to do it. I mean, if they defer to the agency to come up with, let's say, a noise regulation, ultimately that noise regulation should come back to the legislature. You never say, you know, figure it out. Well, I guess I would have to compare myself pre-town council to presently. And, you know, pre-town council, if I had just gone to the legislature at that time, I would have been totally lost. You know, the foundation that I've gotten from the town of Wallingford and how a municipality operates in a strong mayor system, you know, because we have the strong mayor, we have the weak mayor, we have the RTM. I think those are the three different kinds of municipal governments that we have. I think that experience has been, you can't match that. I think that is a very important area. Yeah, I'll tell you that a lot of this stuff came from Wallingford and Cheshire. I met with the mayor and the various department heads in Wallingford. Was it last Friday? And then Tuesday night, I went to the town council meeting in Cheshire, where they gave us their legislative ideas, and we talked about those things. I think that is the responsibility of the legislature. You represent a district, and ultimately what that district is looking for those ideas that you agree with, of course. I think you have a responsibility to champion those. Interesting, when I was going door to door, and I did about 2,200 doors during this campaign season. Invariably, I was doing, my list was those that had voted in 12, 14, or 15. So 12 picks up the presidential, you know, makes the expanse, 14 being the alternate, and 15 being the municipal, okay? So if they voted in one of those three, I was hitting their door. When I'd go down the street and I'd see the Trump signs, initially I thought, oh, well, I'll be there in a little while. None of those people were on my list. They're all new voters, which was interesting. Learned that, you know, towards the end, because I was skipping all those houses. I was like, what's going on here? I think you see a wave. You know, I think we're at the crest of, the wave is cresting, and, you know, I think 2018 will be interesting. You know, very large freshman class coming in of Republicans. I guess I can only say interesting because I have no experience up there.